If you ever doubted that you could handle something and thought maybe those who handle the things that you haven't been able to yet, there's something exceptional about them, you're wrong. And you're not going to want to miss this episode. Welcome back to the Broken and Brave podcast. Today, I am interviewing Jenn. And if you didn't listen to last week's episode that was published June 23rd, it's labeled as part 1. You're going to want to listen to that first. So hit pause, listen to that one, because today Jenn is back talking about her experience and giving us an update about where she is now in her inner work journey 2 years after the fact. Welcome back, Jenn. I'm
Hi.
so happy you're here.
Me too.
So we'll just go in whatever direction you want to.
Okay.
But I want to start out just with one of the things that came up is the vulnerability that you displayed in that episode. Has sharing publicly, like where you don't know who's going to listen, who's going to hear, has that changed anything for you?
So when we first met, one of the things that you said was that openness is the grand simplifier. And it's something that I've really taken to heart. And when I recorded that episode with you, to me, it was just exemplifying that, because what I want to do is to make sure that other people don't feel alone in their journey. Because a lot of times, I know for me personally, before I shared that, I felt like I was going through this by myself and that no one had ever had the same experience that I had. But once I shared that, and people in my circle and outside of my circle, they were like, Jenn, this was incredible. Just your willingness to be open like that. And I'm going through XYZ too. And so it's really created a community for me and for other women to have that opportunity to understand that we aren't alone in this human experience that we're having. And so it's just been a treat to share those connections with other people.
Yeah, and it can feel so lonely, and alone is a lie.
Mhm.
And in my experience, people tend to love vulnerability. They like, oh, beautiful that you shared that. That was so helpful for me. And it can feel so hard for them. So I just wanted to
Mhm.
acknowledge how brave you were and continue to be. And this is what I've gone through, also while respecting other people's privacies. I think that you do that really, really beautifully.
Thank you.
It's very respectful and just sharing your part.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I know a lot has happened in the last 2 years. Is there anything in particular? I mean, I imagine there's several things, but anything in particular that stands out to you that you want to share about how helpful Bravecation and the work has continued to be?
Yes. So in going to 3 Bravecations and working with you for 3 years and signed up for the next Bravecation too. I can't
I'm
wait.
so excited.
One of the things that has really shifted for me is trusting my own intuition and knowing and understanding that my body tells me when things aren't in alignment with my intuition. And so at this most recent Bravecation, I've been talking for several years about wanting to start writing. And I didn't realize until we most recently went to Costa Rica that there was something blocked in my throat that I didn't realize was there. And so in kind of unwrapping a lot of that, it has opened the doors for me to continue that vulnerability in the writing that I'm doing and exploring a lot of my creativity and trusting and surrendering to what's right for my family, for my children. I'm a mom of four. And prior to doing the work with you, I really did fight life. And as you talk about, I thought wanting to be in control of everything because I thought that was a representation of me and that people would see me as a bad mom. And I know I talked about this on the last episode, but since that time, I've really embraced surrendering and trusting my intuition and also trusting my children's intuition and understanding what is right and wrong for them in any given moment. And it's not always easy, I will be honest, in listening to some of that because there are times when old patterns want to emerge. But as I have gotten so much more comfortable in my body and in my awareness, and there's even a spiritual element to this as well, and really leaning into my spirit guides, God, the universe, whatever resonates with you, and allowing the path to be laid out in front of me and not worrying so much about the why or the how like I used to do. I really just released that to what is in front of me and being present with the people that are around me.
Oh my gosh. That last sentence, I got teary eyed because I'm picturing you the first time I met you at a work event 3 years ago, and you were struggling with anxiety. And so to hear you say, like, moving to a point where you have released the why and the how, and you're just allowing yourself to honor
Mhm.
yourself, your intuition, the things that you want, the things that you know are okay, no matter what anyone else says. That's what every single person listening to this podcast wants,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot more questions, but is there anything that immediately stands out? I'm picturing you, like, what would you tell 3 years ago you? Yeah.
What I would tell 3 years ago me is that I can handle anything that comes into my path and that it's okay to understand my humanness and that I'm not always going to get it right, but I understand a lot more about what is right for me because my body tells me, my spirituality tells me, my intuition tells me, and it is all going to work out in the way that it's intended. And so I'm not saying I never have anxiety, but now I have the awareness to understand what it feels like when the anxiety is in my body. And you've given me a lot of the tools to release that, whether that's, the other day I was upset about something and at first, I wasn't allowing myself to feel the anger because sadness and anger are something that I'm still working on allowing myself to feel. And I was kind of talking myself through it like, do I feel angry? Do I not feel angry? And so then I took a walk to get some movement in my body. And then I started to allow myself to feel that. And I did feel angry. And so I put on some angry music and then I'm like rage walking, dancing
Yes.
as I'm on my walk. But prior 3 years ago, Jen didn't have the tools to be able to release that, or it didn't feel okay to express those kinds of emotions. And I know I've talked about that in the previous episode where
Mhm.
there wasn't space for me to feel those types of feelings. But now I know that they are just that. They are feelings. And if I allow myself to feel them because it was only like 2 minutes that I'm rage dancing, like literally, if I allow myself to feel it, then it has moved through my body and I'm able to continue.
People can feel so scared of feeling the emotion, especially when they've suppressed for years, decades. Like, I
Mhm.
don't know what's going to happen if I feel it. And it's like, magic. Like,
Yes.
you got 2 minutes of heaviness and then everything's
Yes.
good. Um,
Yep.
I mean,
Exactly.
Obviously, there's a lot more to it in terms of
Yes.
what makes the emotion turn into a feeling and last a lot longer. We're not going to get into that on this episode today. However, we tend to, as humans, create far more pain for ourselves than we need to.
Yes.
And we'll leave that there. I want to come to circle back to the creativity because I feel like this was such a breakthrough for you at the most recent
Yes.
Bravecation.
Yes.
Coming in, I'm not sure how aware you were of the fear that was holding you back.
So I'd been trying to write for the last several years, but I couldn't figure out what was the right format. It was just
Yes.
getting stuck here.
I remember you saying that to me. I can't remember every word, but is it a children's book? Does it have different people's stories or what? And do you remember what I said back to you?
No.
No. Something around that your job is not how. It's
Yes.
not the how. That's not your job. Your job is
Yes.
just to write and it will
Yes.
come.
Yes. Yes. And that's exactly what has happened. So after the Bravecation, most recent Bravecation retreat, I thought, kind of sat on my experience with writing. And not that I needed external validation, but there was some external validation that I did have some skill and gift in putting words to other people's emotions and my own emotions. And I decided to write for 90 days and start a Substack friend with love friend Jen. And I have been writing and releasing something new every week since then and will continue to do that. This I do remember that you said to me on the retreat, in that what if the writing is the way or the path to the healing?
Yes.
And it has cracked open something inside of me and this goes back to the vulnerability piece, because the things that I do write are sometimes not the prettiest, shiniest parts of myself. And to allow myself to express those feelings
Mhm.
has started to heal some of the experiences that I had growing up and trauma through my life.
Yeah. Yeah. And you had an experience at Bravecation where someone else had the urge to ask you to write for her. I can't remember how it originally came
Yes.
about.
Yeah.
Yes.
She
Yeah.
asked me if I would be open to, or if I had ever written a poem for someone else to express their feelings. And I said, well, no, but I'm open to try. And
Yeah.
so we sat down and I had some conversations with her. And at first she wanted to like give me her notes app. And I was like, no, we need to have a conversation. Like I really need to understand. And part of what came up in that retreat is how I am, as an empath or an empathetic person, I'm able to, it almost feels like I'm plugging in myself to another person to experience their feelings and emotions. And I sat with her and we had really great, vulnerable conversations. It did feel as though I took on her emotions about the situation, in that it, like, I felt sick the whole night after we had those conversations and listened to different kinds of music. And then when I woke up, it's almost like I blacked out writing. Like, I don't even remember the writing.
Mhm.
And then, like, I had to run out of the room and, like, show her and read the writing to her.
It was so beautiful. There was a moment in the morning where she read it out loud to everyone in the group. And I think it
Mhm.
really, really moved everybody sitting there. And I imagine that that experience for you was rather validating as well.
Yes.
Like, I've got this.
Yes, I can. This is the how, when for so long I've been searching for
Hmm.
the how. How do I create connection and community with other people?
Yeah.
And this experience and the emotion that I felt and the emotion that she felt, and how we were able to meld that into a work of art
Yeah.
is something that deeply impacted me and that I will carry with me forever.
Forever. And then you going back and starting that Substack. Not everybody listening has done something that vulnerable where you are allowing, you are actually like blasting something that you created from nothing into the interwebs where
Yes.
the general population is.
Yes. Yes.
And allowing yourself to be seen.
Hmm.
And that's not something, you correct me if I'm wrong, that you would have ever done before.
No, I was trying to make myself as small as possible. And that, I think, is why everything was getting stuck in my throat, because there was so much fear around, if I really say what I want to say, will people still like me? Will they still want to connect with me? Will they think less of me because I'm talking about this less than shiny part of me and my experience? And I have felt like, before I started really writing, that I've been stuck in this well of sadness and I couldn't find a way out for all these years. The writing is letting me out.
It's the way out.
And so, even though there was fear, we don't abide fear.
Exactly. Yes.
And one time when I talked to you in one of the What the F conversations, I said something like, well, what if they use that against me? What if I'm authentic and people use that against me?
Mhm.
And so you're like, okay, well, let's play this out. Can you handle that? Whatever they might say?
Yeah.
And we finally got to, yeah, I can. It's okay. People have talked about me in negative ways before, and I've gotten through it every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And it says so much more about them than it is about me being open and vulnerable in my writing. And I want people to feel like they're not alone and that there is this way to connect and maybe be vulnerable with someone else in their life.
Yeah. That fear of what if they use it against me is, it blocks a lot of people from doing a wide variety of things that their insides are begging them for. Like
Mhm.
your insides were begging you to do
Yes.
this, and it was like, well, what if this happens? And what so many people don't realize is that it comes down to this self-trust that, like, even if the thing that I fear happens does happen, I've
Hmm.
got this. Does that mean I love it? No. Does
No,
that mean I won't cry? No, not
no.
necessarily. Does that mean I won't feel whatever emotion comes up? No. And
Yes.
it's all okay, because then we show ourselves, the more that we'll put ourselves in situations where we could possibly feel the things that we have been terrified, the more that we build trust and the more that we expand our tolerance for it. And then we're in control. We get to choose.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So a few minutes ago, you were listing out the fears. What if they judge me, and all those? I mean, that was even like earlier this year that you had some of those fears. So
Yeah.
if you could just go back and sit next to her,
Hmm.
what did she need to hear?
You can do it. You can handle it. What feel like I've been searching for my whole life is purpose. And I feel like we all have different ways that we're able to step into that. And I would want her to know that this is the purpose. These are the gifts that you've been given, that you've been ignoring since you were a little girl. And now it's time to step into it because you have the tools to handle whatever else comes with that, positive or negative.
Yeah.
You're able to handle that and to give your soul what it's been begging for. all these years.
All these years. Yeah. Yeah. And so, to everyone listening, maybe you've caught an episode or two so far about Bravecation, and then you have, a couple more. And you might be sitting there thinking, like, wow, what they went through, like, varies quite a bit. Like, wait, okay, somebody started writing, somebody's like selling art, somebody is having hard conversations, and just everything in between. And yeah, you show up with wherever you are stuck so that you can break through the fear that's been holding you back. Jen, I see you want to say something.
I do. One of the things that I love about Bravecation is every time that I've gone, I've set the intention that is based on where I'm at in any given moment. And so my first Bravecation had a completely different intention than this Bravecation. In this Bravecation, I wanted to understand, where do my emotions end and someone else's begin?
Mm.
And so going through the process of connecting with someone else and understanding their energy and their emotions and being able to put it on the page was like, okay,
Jen, I didn't even make that connection. Like, wow.
yeah.
Whoa.
That was what I wanted, to understand, where does my energy end and someone else's begin?
Yeah.
And her and I having that experience really showed me that.
Mm.
And it's something that I've carried with me. And I understand now what my baseline energy is and my own energy field, if you will. And there can be, because prior to this experience specifically, I have really struggled with not taking on other people's emotions as my own. It's something I've actively worked on. After this Bravecation, I have such a baseline understanding of what's mine and what's somebody else's, to the point where the other day there was a situation going on at work, and I'm sitting there just like, okay, like I'm the observer. I didn't absorb anyone's energy. I walked out of there and I felt great.
Yay. Such a big win. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking about the intentions, I ask everybody beforehand to write an intention to set before the retreat, because when we are more clear about what we're open to receiving, we often receive it.
Yeah.
And the intentions are wildly different, and I use them to inform the direction that we take at the retreat. And so every retreat is a bit different because it's based on the need that you all have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that you
Okay.
shared that.
Mhm.
So, one of the things that came up for you in the original retreat that I'm just curious to check in on was about connections. You
Mhm.
came in to a room of strangers. You didn't
Yeah.
know them before that 5 days. And
Mm-mm.
yeah, talk to us about like what transpired and what's happened since then, how it's changed
Yes.
you.
Oh my gosh. So at that time, I had pretty high level anxiety walking into that first retreat and not knowing what to expect and not knowing any of the people that were there except for you and a couple of people that I'd talked to through the program, but I hadn't met anyone. And in that retreat and each subsequent retreat, I have made lifelong friends. Like, we're connected still outside of Brave. We know about each other's kids. We talk to each other. There's some people that I talk to every single day. There are some people that I talk to once a week. Like, the bonds of friendship and connection that came from that, because of my level of being open to experiencing that, has created a circle of people that understand this journey that I'm taking, and they are on this journey too. And so it's given me other people that I can talk about this experience and what I'm going through in my life. And they're like, oh, like I had someone this morning that was sick because I have a sore throat. And they were like, Jen, I know you're not talking about certain things. Is this coming up because of the block in your throat that you
Yeah.
learned about because you're not saying what you want to say? And so it's so incredible to have people in community that understand the journey that I'm taking and can call me in those moments, because I was like, I didn't even make that connection that I have a sore throat and I'm not saying things I want to say. And oh my gosh. And, just bringing those things to my attention. So if you are open to creating connection and friendships, have people that I'm connected with from the first Bravecation and new people that I met on this current Bravecation. And it just continues to increase the circle of people that are in my life.
I'm so happy. If I would have asked you, if I would have not asked you, but if I would have said, I'm trying to think what month that first Bravecation was. Maybe it was January or February. So if I would have said to you in December, the previous December, yeah, you're gonna meet like best friends, would you have thought I was nuts?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah. It's wild though, isn't it?
It really is. And what I love about going into Bravecation and experiencing this with you, and why I continue to come back, is because you are such, I talked about this last time, you are such a thoughtful and compassionate guide on this journey that is not always easy. You bring such insights and invite whoever you're talking to make those shifts in real time and invite. For me, like I said, sadness is really hard for me still, and I'm continuing to work on it. But it is a safe place where I can feel anything that I need to feel, and the tears don't minimize me as a person. You are there to continue to talk through it in such a compassionate way. And I'm so grateful that I get to have this opportunity to continue going on these adventures with you and all of the people that you bring in, because it's not just with me that you offered this experience. It's every single person that I've ever seen interact with you in any way, that you are there to guide them in the most loving and compassionate way, but also invite them or offer the invitation to take on the challenge of making the shifts that people want to make.
Thank you so much for saying that and pointing that out. One of this is going to connect to what you said. One of the interviews that I did was with Kate, and she talked about the morning that she was feeling dysregulated, and I invited her to stand on the chair. And she was like, no,
Mm-hmm.
no. And so I'd like to point out, although it might be obvious to people, it might not, that even though my demeanor is soft, loving, compassionate, I don't gloss over stuff.
No,
And like, we're going to
no.
do the thing so that you can break through. And
Yes.
obviously, I never force or make someone, but I do everything that I can to make it feel safe, to do the
Mm-hmm.
thing that feels scary so that it's not scary anymore.
Yeah. Yes. The invitation in a way that you want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you for saying that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Is there anything else around openness in particular, how that's, shifted things in your life since that originally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stepping into openness has allowed me to show up in different ways, or a completely different way, in situations with my family. I know this episode is about my relationship with my mom, or the original one was, and in being open with both her and with my dad, it has created an opportunity for us to connect in ways that we hadn't been able to before, because I'm showing up differently. I am being understanding of their experience, and I'm asking for what I want. And I am holding boundaries where I didn't do that before. So the work has come from me and the openness has come from me, but because I am being vulnerable in those situations, the invitation has been there, even though I haven't verbally said it, for them to show up open with me as well. And so it's really been beautiful to see that shift in those relationships. I have a great win that actually happened this morning from an openness perspective and an ownership perspective. One of my children was upset because I didn't communicate something effectively with them. And it left them feeling a little bit dysregulated. And I asked if they were upset, and they said, "Yes, I am upset." And I said, "Okay, do you want to talk about it?" And they said, "Yes, I do want to talk about it. I feel like you haven't been communicating with me in the way that I need to be communicated with about XYZ." And I said, "You know what? You're right. I'm so sorry that I didn't give you all the information that you need. And what can I do to make it better? Or what needs to happen on my end to make you feel more comfortable?"
Can
And
you
so
compare that to how you would have responded maybe in the
oh my
past?
gosh, I would have been like, "Okay, I'm sorry, whatever, like, we gotta go,
Yeah,
suck it up,
right.
basically.
It's not that big of a deal.
This is what it is. I'm sorry you feel that way, but we gotta do the thing."
Yeah. It
And there would have probably been shouting involved, and it would have just escalated in a way that would have left us both not feeling great. But today, we both left the conversation. We both felt great. We both said what we needed to say, and it is resolved. Literally took like 2 minutes to have a resolution, and everyone felt good.
Yes, I love that. When we do the work and we take accountability and we show up non defensively, which is exactly what you did, we create safety in those relationships so that people can say things to us that they might have held in. And when we
Mhm.
hold things in, it grows and it comes out in ways that are
Yep.
not so great.
Yep.
And we're able to resolve it. Like you said, 2 minutes, we're able to
Yep.
resolve it quickly. And so
Yes.
I find sometimes people stray away from emotions because they're like, oh, that's just going to like make it like so much more heavy or this or that. And it's actually the opposite,
Yeah.
that we can solve the problems we need to solve without all the extra baggage. And I
Yes.
wanted to point out something else that you alluded to. You have done the work and are continuing to do the work because it's a journey.
Mhm.
Your mom and your dad haven't. And so I
Right.
hear a lot of people ask the question, well, like, what's the point if the other person, if my spouse or this person or that person, if they're not going to do it, like, why does it matter that much? Because we're still going to get into this. And the beautiful thing is when you start with you, incredible shifts happen. And when you let go of expecting this other person to change, they actually often mirror
Yes.
at least a little bit what
Mhm.
we're doing because of mirror
Yes.
neurons.
Yes. I
And
see that in my family too. While they're not going through the work, my modeling of the work and allowing it to become part of our family's, lexicon or how we speak to one another. They're not in Brave Academy or have been to Brave Stations or anything like that, but me showing up in the way that I do, they understand all kinds of things, the tools that are in your work, because that's how I'm showing up.
I love how
Yeah.
well you're modeling it. And they'll even be like,
Mm.
oh, what story are you making up,
Yeah,
mom?
they sure are. That they definitely do. Mom, I think you're making up some stories in your head.
Oh, I love it so
Yes.
much. One other thing I wanted to ask you about is this is the first time I've had follow on calls after Bravecation. So we have our 5 day retreat, and I
Mm.
added several weeks, 12 weeks, 12 weeks of group coaching calls. So that way I
Nice.
can guide, we can keep the connection between everybody who attended, and I can guide everyone to deepen the insights and apply it to their lives and integrate, so to speak, all the breakthroughs. How have the calls felt for you?
I love the call so much, and I verbalized this to you a few times. I think it is the best way for me to continue to integrate the intention that I had at the retreat. And it's so great to see everyone else integrating what was talked about at the retreat, because in previous years, it was kind of like, okay, like you're on your own, go little birdies and fly.
Hmm.
And this experience in having those coaching calls after the bravecation gives that opportunity to learn from each other, but also for me, it's holding me accountable to what I said I was going to do. Like I said I was going to write for 90 days, and I pop in there and you're like, "Okay, well, where are you at? Have you done the thing?" And I'm like, "Yes, I've done the thing." And we're like all celebrating and
Yes.
lifting each other up. So for me, it's been a game changer to continue to integrate what I wanted to take away from
Thank
the
you for sharing
bravecation.
that. Yeah. And I'm glad that you said the accountability piece because it really does build in that accountability and really
Mhm.
help you get even more out of the investment.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, for sure.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to share today before we end?
Just thank you for being you.
Thank you. Any last
I
words if someone is thinking about coming, but maybe they're on the fence or they're
Do it.
hesitating?
Do it. Do it. You will not regret it. You will walk away with so much growth in a short amount of time. Your mind is going to be blown. The first one I went to like cracked me open in half, and really, even though I'd been in Brave Academy for probably 6-ish months before I went to my first Bravecation, it really allowed me to have the breakthroughs and the shifts that I want to have, because you're surrounded by people who also want to grow, and you have Steph, who is here, focused on making sure that you are moving in the direction that you want to. So do it. You're not going to regret it. You're going to love it. You're going to walk away and your mind's going to be blown. And it's the best investment that I have ever made in myself. Literally, hands down, hands
Jen,
down.
thank you so much. That means so much to me to hear. And I know how genuine you are. And it's
Mhm.
everything that I want to be able to create and guide people in this way. Thank you. Thank you.
You're doing it. It's incredible. I can't wait to go back.
Same.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, you're welcome.